Captain Ta Jun Kim rubbed his tired eyes as he finished the daily systems check on the bridge of the Earth expeditionary vessel Dauntless *. After 18 months in deep space, these checks had become as routine as brushing his teeth. He logged the final readings and was about to head to the mess hall when Lieutenant Jahan's voice cut through the quiet hum of the ship. "Captain, I'm picking up something strange," she said, her fingers dancing across the communications panel. "A signal from Sector 7 Alpha. It's not matching any known patterns in our database." Tai-Jun walked over to her station. The bridge was nearly empty during third shift, with only the essential crew at their posts. He leaned over Zhe's shoulder and studied the waveform patterns on her screen. "How long has it been broadcasting?" he asked. "Detected it about 3 minutes ago, sir. It's repeating on a 40-second cycle." Security Chief Daho Park stepped up beside them, his broad shoulders tense. "Could be a trap," he said bluntly. "The Mrekti pirates have been known to use fake distress calls to lure ships into ambush points." Tai-Jun nodded, considering this. The Dauntless * was one of Earth's newest exploration vessels, but humans were still newcomers to the Galactic Alliance. Many of the older species looked down on them as dangerous Deathworlders. Beings evolved on a harsh planet with high gravity, dangerous radiation levels, and deadly predators. This reputation made human ships tempting targets for pirates who underestimated their combat capabilities. "Wake up Science Officer Choi," Ta-Jun ordered. "I want her take on this signal." 10 minutes later, Eunji Choi arrived on the bridge, her black hair hastily pulled back into a ponytail. Her eyes were alert despite being woken from a sound sleep. She immediately went to work analyzing the mysterious transmission. The bridge crew waited in silence as Eunji ran the signal through various decryption algorithms and analysis programs. Finally, she straightened up and turned to face the captain. "It's definitely a distress call," she said confidently. "The mathematical sequences embedded in the signal follow universal constants, the kind that any technologically advanced species would recognize. There's an elegance to it that would be difficult to fake." "Source?" Ta-Jun asked simply. "Unknown species," Eunji replied. "The signal characteristics don't match anything in our databases or the Alliance archives we have access to. But the location is coming from an uncharted moon orbiting a gas giant in the Kepler 447 system." Daho crossed his arms. "All the more reason to be cautious. We don't know who we'd be dealing with." Tai-Jun paced the bridge slowly, weighing his options. The Dauntless * was supposed to be mapping stellar phenomena in this quadrant, not engaging in rescue operations. But if there really were beings in distress, ignoring their call for help went against everything he believed in. "How far?" he asked Navigation Officer Min Lee, who had just arrived on the bridge after being summoned. Min checked his console. "At maximum FTL, we could reach the signal source in approximately 7 hours." Ta-Jun made his decision. "Set course for the signal origin. Alert medical to prepare for possible casualties of unknown biology. And wake up Ambassador Yoon. We might be making first contact." As the crew rushed to their stations, Tai-Jun felt the familiar weight of command settle on his shoulders. Humanity was still proving itself to the Galactic Alliance. Many species viewed them with suspicion or outright fear due to their Deathworlder physiology. Humans could endure radiation levels, atmospheric pressures, and temperature ranges that would kill most Alliance species. These traits, combined with their relatively aggressive history, made many aliens uncomfortable. But Tai-Jun knew that those same traits, endurance, adaptability, and a drive to overcome challenges, also made humans uniquely suited for space exploration and rescue operations. If there were beings in danger out there, the Dauntless * and her crew might be their best hope. 6.5 hours later, the Dauntless * dropped out of FTL on the edge of the Kepler 447 system. The ship's sensors immediately began scanning the area, searching for both the source of the distress signal and any potential threats. Signal is coming from the third moon of the gas giant, Gia reported. Getting stronger now that we're closer. It's definitely an automated repeating message. Any signs of other ships in the area? Daho asked, still suspicious. Negative, Min replied from navigation. No warp signatures, no engine emissions. If there were pirates here, they're gone now or hiding extremely well. The main view screen showed the massive gas giant, swirling with bands of orange and gold clouds. Its system of moons came into view as the ship approached, and Min zoomed in on the third one, a small rocky world with a thin atmosphere. I'm detecting an artificial structure on the surface, Yunji said, studying her readings. Appears to be some kind of research or mining facility, and there are life signs, but they're fluctuating. Fluctuating how? Asked Dr. Sumin Kwan, the ship's chief medical officer who had joined them on the bridge. As if they're failing, Yunji said grimly. And I'm picking up radiation readings that are well above safe levels for most known species. Ambassador Sun Ho-yoon, a slender man with a calm, diplomatic demeanor, spoke up for the first time. Captain, if these are indeed unknown aliens suffering from radiation exposure, our first contact with them will be under the worst possible circumstances. Taijun nodded. All the more reason to make it count. Jia, can you establish communication? Lieutenant Han worked at her console, sending standard greeting package on all frequencies. Translation matrix is active. Minutes passed with no response. Jia was about to try again when her console lit up. Incoming transmission, visual and audio, she announced. On screen, Taijun ordered. The view screen flickered and then displayed an image that made the bridge crew gasp collectively. The alien was unlike anything they had seen before, a slender, almost crystalline being with translucent skin that seemed to glow from within. Its large, multifaceted eyes blinked rapidly as it looked into whatever camera was transmitting its image. When it spoke, its voice had a musical, chiming quality that the ship's translators took a moment to process. Unknown vessel, we receive your transmission. I am Curator Valine of the Nauru Exploratory Mission. Our situation is critical. Our reactor containment has been breached following a meteor strike. Radiation levels are rising beyond what our bodies can tolerate. We have 294 researchers and family members with no means of evacuation. The alien, Valine, seemed to sway slightly, as if standing took great effort. Our home fleet is too far to reach us in time. If you have the capability to assist, we beg for your aid. If not, please relay our situation to the Galactic Alliance Central Command. Captain Kim stepped forward. I am Captain Ta-Jun Kim of the Earth Expeditionary Vessel Dauntless *. We are members of the Galactic Alliance and have responded to your distress call. We have medical facilities and can attempt evacuation. Please share your facility schematics and any information about your species' biological needs. The alien skin pulsed with a soft blue light. Earth, humans, the Deathworlders. There was a pause and what sounded like a whispered conversation off-screen. Then Valine continued, we will send all relevant data immediately. But I must warn you, our atmosphere contains elements toxic to many carbon-based life forms, and the radiation levels. We understand the risks. Ta-Jun said firmly, humans evolved on a planet with high radiation and diverse atmospheric threats. We have the necessary protection equipment. How much time do you estimate before critical failure? Reactor shield integrity is at 27%. At current degradation rates, less than 12 hours, Valine replied, the translator conveying the desperation in her voice. We'll be there in one, Ta-Jun promised. Prepare your people for evacuation. Dauntless out. As the transmission ended, he turned to his crew. You heard the situation. We have less than 12 hours to evacuate nearly 300 aliens with unknown biological requirements from a radiation-flooded facility. Dr. Kwan was already reviewing the biological data being transmitted from the alien facility. The Naru have a crystalline cellular structure, unlike anything I've seen before. They're extremely sensitive to temperature changes, pressure variations, and especially radiation. What wouldn't kill us will be lethal to them. Can we safely transport them? Taijun asked. I'll need to modify our medical bay and shuttles. But yes, Sumin replied. Their environmental needs are challenging, but not impossible to meet. Daeho was studying the facility schematics. Structure is becoming unstable. We'll need to move fast and establish safe corridors for evacuation. Taijun looked around at his crew, the best Earth had to offer. They had trained for years to explore the unknown reaches of space. Now they faced their greatest test, saving lives that evolved in conditions utterly different from their own. This is why we're out here, he told them. Not just to explore, but to help. Let's show the galaxy what Deathworlders can do when others are in danger. Prepare rescue teams and get us to that moon at maximum speed. As the Dauntless accelerated toward the stricken moon base, Taijun felt a surge of determination. The fragile aliens might view humans as dangerous Deathworlders, but today that would be their salvation, not their doom. The Dauntless entered orbit around the small moon where the Naru facility stood. From space, the structure looked like a cluster of crystal domes connected by transparent tunnels, all nestled into the rocky surface. In normal times, it might have been beautiful. Now, even the ship's sensors could detect the dangerous radiation pouring from a damaged section on the eastern side. Radiation levels are already twice what would be safe for humans, Yunji reported from her science station. For the Naru, based on their biology, it must be unbearable. Captain Taijun Kim nodded grimly. How are the shuttle modifications coming? Chief Engineer Ji-Won Kang's voice came through the comm system. We've adapted 2 shuttles to maintain the atmospheric conditions the Naru require. The temperature regulation was tricky, but we've managed it. Each shuttle can safely transport 30 Naru at a time. That means at least 10 trips, Daeho calculated quickly. With loading and return time, we're cutting it close to the reactor's failure point. Taijun looked at the main screen showing the Naru facility. Small figures could be seen moving inside the transparent sections, some of them clearly struggling to walk. We need to start immediately. Rescue team, prepare for departure. Ambassador Yoon, you'll lead the first contact team. Dr. Kwan, have your medical staff ready to receive casualties. Sun Ho-yoon nodded, his diplomatic training evident in his calm demeanor despite the crisis. I've studied the cultural data they sent. The Naru are a consensus-based society with deep respect for knowledge and preservation of life. They have never developed weapons or warfare as we know it. How is that possible? Daeho asked, genuinely puzzled. Their home planet has no large predators and stable climate conditions, Sun Ho explained. They evolved to cooperate, not compete. Their bodies reflect this, fragile but highly sensitive to their environment. Taijun thought about how different this was from Earth's harsh conditions that had shaped human evolution. No wonder the Naru and other alien species viewed humans as Deathworlders. Humans had evolved thick skin, dense bones, and robust systems designed to survive threats that species like the Naru had never faced. Let's move, he ordered. I'll lead the first shuttle team. 20 minutes later, the first shuttle docked with the main airlock of the Naru facility. Captain Kim, Ambassador Yoon, Security Chief Park, and 4 crew members wearing protective suits stepped through the airlock. Even with their suits, the humans could feel the difference in atmosphere, lighter gravity, strange smell filtering through their respirators, and a subtle vibration underfoot from the failing reactor. They were met by 3 Naru, led by Curator Valine. In person, the aliens were even more striking than they had appeared on the view screen. Standing about 2 meters tall, their slender bodies seemed almost translucent, with an inner structure that resembled crystalline formations. Their skin pulsed with soft light that changed colors slightly as they moved. What appeared to be clothing was actually a thin protective layer grown over their more sensitive areas. Captain Kim, Veline spoke, her voice creating a musical resonance that their translators converted to speech. "You came as promised. We did not expect such quick response." Taijun noticed that all three Naru were swaying slightly, their crystalline bodies showing visible discoloration at the edges, signs of radiation sickness, according to the medical briefing. "We need to begin evacuation immediately," he said, keeping his voice gentle but firm. "Where are your most vulnerable members?" Veline gestured toward the inner chambers. "The young ones and our elders are in the central hub. We thought the additional shielding would protect them longer." Sanho stepped forward, performing the greeting gesture they had learned from the Naru data. A slight bow with hands held palms upward. "I am Ambassador Yun. We have prepared our vessel to accommodate your people's needs. Please tell your people that they can bring only essential personal items. Our priority is saving lives." The Naru leadership nodded, their skin flashing with patterns of blue and green that the humans couldn't interpret. "We have already gathered everyone," another Naru said. "We maintain calm, but many are suffering from radiation exposure. Our bodies were not designed to withstand such forces." Daeho was scanning the structure with a handheld device. "Captain, structural integrity in the East Wing is failing. We have maybe 9 hours before complete collapse, not 12. Taijun made a quick decision. "Ambassador Yun, stay here and coordinate the evacuation with Curator Veline. Chief Park, come with me to assess the damaged section. We need to make sure we can maintain safe passage for everyone." As they moved through the crystal corridors, they saw more Naru. Some were carrying what looked like data crystals or small personal items. Others were helping the clearly sick members of their community. All of them stopped and stared at the humans in their protective suits, many showing light patterns that suggested both fear and hope. "They've never seen humans before, have they?" Daeho asked quietly. "Probably only in educational materials," Taijun replied. "And those likely painted us as dangerous." They reached the central hub, a large dome-shaped chamber where about 100 Naru had gathered. Many were smaller, children, Taijun realized, while others showed signs of age in their more rigid crystalline structures. A small Naru child approached Taijun, stopping just in front of him. Its body glowed with curious pulses of yellow light. "Are you the Deathworlders?" the child asked, the translation coming through with a tone of innocent curiosity. Before Taijun could answer, an older Naru pulled the child back. "Forgive the young one," the adult said. "We have taught about Earth and humans, but never expected to meet your kind." "It's all right," Taijun said, crouching down to be at eye level with the child. "Yes, I come from Earth. Some call us Deathworlders because our planet is different from yours. But today, that means we can help you when others couldn't." The child's body pulsed brighter. "Your world has big animals that eat other animals. Is that true?" Taijun nodded. "Yes, and storms, and earthquakes, and many challenges. That's why our bodies are strong in ways yours are different. But all people, no matter where they're from, need help sometimes." On the Dauntless Asterisk, Dr. Su-Min Kwan had transformed the main cargo bay into a temporary medical facility for the Naru. The engineering team had adjusted the environmental controls to match the aliens' needs: cooler temperatures, different atmospheric composition, and special lighting designed to minimize stress on their photosensitive skin. "First shuttle approaching, Doctor," a medical assistant informed her. 32 Naru aboard, 17 showing signs of radiation poisoning. Su-Min took a deep breath. She had studied the Naru biological data intensively, but treating an entirely new species was still daunting. Their crystalline cellular structure responded to radiation damage very differently from human cells. "Have treatment stations ready," she ordered. "Remember, no physical contact without gloves. Our body heat alone could cause them discomfort." The shuttle docked, and soon the first group of Naru were being guided into the cargo bay. They moved slowly, many leaning on each other for support. Their bodies' glow was dim, which Su Min had learned indicated poor health. A Naru approached her, introducing itself as a medical specialist named Kelith. Its English was heavily accented but understandable without the translator. "Our gratitude is beyond expression," Kelith said. "Many would have perished without your intervention. The young ones especially could not have survived another day of exposure." Su Min showed Kelith the treatments they had prepared. "We've synthesized compounds based on your medical data. They should help neutralize the radiation effects on your cellular structures. Will you help me administer them?" Kelith's body flashed with bright blue light. Surprise, Su Min had learned. "You created treatments for us in such short time." The alien sounded astonished. "Human medical science has dealt with radiation poisoning throughout our history," Su Min explained simply. "We've had to learn how to treat it quickly and effectively." "Another gift of being Deathworlders," Kelith said thoughtfully. "What brings suffering can also bring wisdom." Back at the facility, the evacuation was proceeding as quickly as possible. 2 more shuttles had arrived from the Dauntless Asterisk, and nearly 100 Naru had already been transported to safety. But time was running short. Captain Kim and Chief Park had reached the damaged reactor section. The radiation levels here were dangerously high, even for humans in protective suits. "The containment field is failing," Daho reported, checking his scanner. "If it goes completely, the whole facility will be flooded with lethal radiation in minutes." Through the transparent walls, they could see the reactor core, a pulsing crystal structure unlike human power sources. Cracks were visible in its housing, leaking dangerous energy. "We need to speed up the evacuation," Taijun said. At this rate, he was interrupted by a loud cracking sound. Part of the corridor behind them collapsed, cutting off their direct route back to the main evacuation point. "Captain, Chief Park," Ambassador Yoon's voice came through their comms. "Are you all right? We've lost structural integrity in Section 7. "We're fine," Taijun responded. "But we'll need to take the long way around." "How many Naru are still waiting for evacuation?" "About 140, Sunho replied. "We're loading as fast as we can, but many are too weak to move quickly." Taijun looked at Daho. "We need to buy more time." The security chief nodded grimly. "I might be able to reinforce the reactor containment field temporarily. It won't hold forever, but it could give us the extra hours we need." "It's too dangerous," Taijun objected. "The radiation levels are within what a human can survive with proper protection," Daho finished. "That's why we're called Deathworlders, Captain. We can endure what would kill others." Taijun knew he was right. This was exactly why humans could help when other Alliance species couldn't. Their biology, shaped by Earth's harsh conditions, had prepared them for exactly this kind of crisis. "Do it," he ordered. "But take all precautions. I want everyone coming home from this mission." As Daho began working on the reactor containment field, Taijun headed back to help with the evacuation. The Naru were watching the humans with new understanding in their glowing eyes. Perhaps today would change how at least one species viewed the dangerous Deathworlders from Earth. The next 3 hours passed in a blur of activity. The shuttles moved back and forth between the Dauntless Asterisk and the failing Naru facility, each trip bringing 30 more aliens to safety. Lieutenant Jahan had taken over coordination from the ship's end, ensuring that each group of refugees was quickly processed and given medical attention. In the facility, Captain Taijun Kim worked alongside Ambassador Sunho Yoon, helping the weakest Naru move toward the evacuation points. The aliens' crystalline bodies grew more fragile with each passing minute as radiation continued to seep through the station. "How many more?" Taijun asked, supporting an elderly Naru whose light had dimmed to a faint glow. Sunho checked his tablet. 62 still waiting for transport. The next shuttle arrives in 7 minutes. Taijun's comm unit crackled. "Captain, this is Park." Daho's voice sounded strained. "The reactor containment field is holding for now, but I'm seeing new cracks forming in the outer shell. We may have less time than I thought." "Understood. What's your status? I'm fine, Daho replied, though Telejum could hear the fatigue in his voice. My suit is handling the radiation, but the levels are climbing. I've done all I can here. Get back to the evacuation point immediately, Tajun ordered. That's a direct command, Chief. Yes, sir. On my way. Taijun turned to Sunho. We need to speed this up. Ask Curator Veline if there's any way to consolidate the remaining Naru in one location. Sunho nodded and moved off to find the Naru leader. Taijun continued helping the elderly alien toward the airlock where the next shuttle would dock. As they moved slowly through the crystal corridors, the captain noticed more structural damage appearing. Small cracks were forming in what had once been perfect transparent walls. Your kind is not what we expected, the elderly Naru said suddenly, its voice weak but clear through the translator. What did you expect? Tajun asked, carefully supporting the alien's weight. The Alliance records describe humans as aggressive, dangerous, built for warfare and competition. The Naru's body pulsed with a soft yellow light. They do not mention your kindness or your willingness to risk yourselves for strangers. Before Taijun could respond, a loud crack echoed through the corridor. A section of ceiling 20 meters ahead collapsed, blocking their path to the evacuation point. Sunho, Taijun called into his comm. We have a cave-in on the main corridor. Is there another route to Airlock 3? Yes, but it's longer, Sunho replied. Through the research labs, and then north. I'm sending you the map now. Tajun's tablet beeped as it received the new route. He studied it quickly, then looked at the elderly Naru. We need to go a different way. Can you continue? The alien's light pulsed weakly. I will try, Captain of Earth. On the Dauntless Asterisk, Dr. Su-Min Quan moved quickly between the rows of Naru patients in the converted cargo bay. Nearly 200 aliens were now aboard, many suffering from radiation exposure. Her medical team worked tirelessly, administering the treatments they had developed. Dr. Keleth, the Naru medical specialist, approached her. I must share something important with you. Su-Min paused in her work. What is it? 3 of our young ones are showing signs of crystal fracturing, Keleth said, its voice heavy with concern. In our species, this is the final stage before body failure. Without specialized equipment from our homeworld, I fear they will not survive. Su-Min felt her heart sink. After all this effort, to lose even one Naru would be devastating. Show me, she said firmly. Keleth led her to a separate area where 3 small Naru children lay on special beds. Their bodies, normally glowing with vibrant light, now showed dark patches and visible fracture lines across their crystalline structure. Our healing process requires specific frequencies of light and mineral infusions, Keleth explained. Without them, the crystal restructuring cannot occur. Su-Min studied the young aliens, her mind racing. What minerals? And what light frequencies? Keleth seemed surprised by the direct questions. Primarily selenium compounds and light in the 420 to 450 nanometer range. But your ship would not have. We're a research vessel, Su-Min interrupted. We have specialized lighting for botanical experiments and a full range of minerals for geological studies. She tapped her comm unit. Bridge, this is Dr. Quan. I need Engineer Kang to meet me in the cargo bay immediately. Within 20 minutes, Judwon Kang had rigged a makeshift healing chamber using modified grow lights from the botany lab and a mineral solution mixer. The 3 young Naru were placed inside, their bodies bathed in deep blue light. Will it work? Su-Min asked Keleth. The Naru medical specialist's body pulsed with hopeful blue light. It is remarkable. You created in minutes what our specialists take years to perfect. The principle is correct, though I cannot promise success. On Earth, we have a saying, Su-Min told the alien. Necessity is the mother of invention. When we must find a way, we do. Back at the facility, the situation was growing more dire. Captain Kim had managed to reach the new evacuation point with the elderly Naru, but more sections of the structure were failing. 50 Naru remained, gathered in what had been a large research chamber. "Next shuttle is docking now," Sunho reported. "But after this load, we'll still have 20 Naru left, and the structural integrity is failing faster than predicted." Taijun looked around at the frightened aliens, their bodies pulsed with dim, anxious colors. He made a quick decision. "Tell the shuttle to take 40 instead of 30, he ordered. "They can crowd in for a short journey." "Captain." Curator Veline approached him, her once elegant form now stooped with exhaustion. "You and your crew should take the shuttle. The final group of us can wait." "That's not how we do things," Taijun said firmly. "No one gets left behind." A violent tremor shook the facility, stronger than any before. Part of the wall cracked from floor to ceiling, allowing a thin stream of the moon's toxic atmosphere to hiss into the room. "Breach," Sunho called out, pointing to the crack. 2 crew members rushed to seal it with emergency patches from their kits. Daho, who had rejoined them 30 minutes earlier, checked his scanner. "Captain, the reactor containment is at critical levels. When it fails, the radiation surge will be immediately lethal, even to us." Taijun's mind raced through options. The shuttle would be here any minute, but it would take at least 20 more minutes for it to return after taking the next group. "Sunho, contact the Dauntless Asterisk. Have them prepare to move the ship itself closer to the facility. We may need to do a direct evacuation using the main airlock." "Sir, bringing the ship this close to a failing reactor is extremely risky," Daho objected. "So is leaving people behind," Taijun replied. "Make the call, Ambassador." While Sunho contacted the ship, Taijun addressed the remaining Naru. "We will get all of you out safely. The next group will board the shuttle as planned. The rest will leave on our ship directly. I promise you, no one will be left behind." The Naru's lights pulsed in what Taijun had come to recognize as a pattern of gratitude. Despite their fear, they remained calm and organized, helping each other prepare for evacuation. The shuttle arrived and began loading. Taijun made sure the weakest Naru went first, working alongside his crew to carry those who could no longer walk. As the shuttle departed with 40 passengers crowded inside, only Taijun, Sunho, Daho, and 2 other crew members remained with the final 10 Naru. Dauntless Asterisk approaching, Captain, Sunho reported. "They'll be in position for direct docking in 12 minutes. Another violent shake rocked the facility. More cracks appeared in the walls and ceiling. "We may not have 12 minutes, Daho said grimly, checking his scanner. "Reactor containment down to 8%. Taijun looked at the scared but dignified Naru waiting with them. They had trusted humans, Deathworlders, with their lives. He would not fail them now. "We need to move to the main airlock," he decided. "It's the only one large enough for the ship to dock with directly." "That's on the other side of the reactor section," Daho pointed out. "The radiation levels in that corridor are extreme." "For the Naru, yes," Taijun acknowledged. "But we can handle it with our suits." He turned to the aliens. "We need to carry you through a dangerous area. The radiation won't harm us as much as it would harm you. Do you trust us to do this?" The Naru conferred briefly, their bodies flashing with rapid pulses of light. Then Veline stepped forward. "We place our lives in your hands, Captain Kim." Taijun nodded. "Each of us will carry 2 of you. Keep your bodies as still as possible, and let us do the work." The human crew carefully lifted the Naru, who were surprisingly light despite their size. Taijun carried Veline and another smaller Naru, cradling them against his protective suit. "Stay close and move quickly," he ordered his team. "Straight through the reactor corridor, and don't stop for anything." They moved out, entering the corridor that ran past the failing reactor core. Even through their suits, they could feel the radiation, a strange tingling sensation on their skin. The Naru in their arms curled into themselves, their crystalline bodies darkening in response to the deadly energy. Halfway down the corridor, Daho's scanner began to wail. "Containment at 3%. We have minutes at most. Run, Taijun shouted. The humans sprinted down the corridor, careful not to jostle their fragile passengers. The main airlock came into view just as a tremendous groaning sound filled the facility. The reactor, Sunho called out. They reached the airlock as the first wave of increased radiation hit them. The door slid open to reveal the Dauntless Asterisk had successfully docked, its own airlock aligned perfectly. Get aboard, Taijun ordered, passing his Naru passengers to crew members waiting inside the ship. One by one, his team made it through with their precious cargo. Taijun was the last to step through, just as the facility's lights flickered and died. The ship's airlock sealed behind him. All aboard, Captain, Lieutenant Jahan reported from the bridge through the comm system. Detaching from facility now. The Dauntless Asterisk pulled away from the doomed structure. Through the viewports, they watched as the Naru facility's reactor finally gave way, a brilliant flash of energy erupting from its core. The crystal domes shattered in a silent explosion, fragments scattering across the moon's barren surface. In the ship's cargo bay, surrounded by the rescued Naru, Captain Kim removed his helmet. The aliens gathered around him, their bodies now pulsing with brighter, healthier light. You risked everything for us, Curator Valine said, her voice full of wonder. Why? Taijun looked at his crew, then back at the Naru. Because that's what humans do. Some may call us Deathworlders, but we believe no one should face death alone. The Naru's bodies glowed with a unified pulse of light, a gesture that needed no translation. The message was clear, gratitude beyond words. As the Dauntless Asterisk set course for the Naru homeworld, Taijun knew that today, being a Deathworlder had meant giving life instead of taking it. 3 days after the rescue, the Dauntless Asterisk approached the Naru homeworld. Through the main viewport, the planet looked like a jewel in space, a world of soft blues and greens with no violent weather systems visible on its surface. It was exactly the kind of gentle environment that would produce a species like the Naru. Captain Taijun Kim stood on the bridge, watching as they entered orbit. Beside him, Curator Valine's body glowed with excitement. Many of our kind did not believe your message when you sent it ahead, she said. They could not imagine that all 294 of us had been saved. Why was that so hard to believe? Taijun asked. Because it was impossible, Valine said simply. No Naru rescue team could have succeeded. The radiation levels alone would have killed them before they reached us, and other Alliance species would have required too much time to adapt their ships for our needs. Her body pulsed with a color that Taijun had come to recognize as deep gratitude. Only Deathworlders could have done the impossible. Lieutenant Jahan looked up from her communication station. Captain, we're receiving a transmission from the Naru High Council. They're requesting permission to speak with you. Put them through, Taijun replied. The main screen flickered to life, showing 5 Naru seated in what appeared to be a chamber made entirely of crystal. Their bodies glowed with formal patterns of light that shifted in complex ways. Captain Taijun Kim of Earth, the central figure, spoke, its voice resonating even through the translator. I am First Speaker Marine of the Naru High Council. We extend our deepest gratitude for the rescue of our research team. Your actions have challenged our understanding of humans. Taijun bowed slightly. Thank you, First Speaker. We were simply doing what any ship would do when hearing a distress call. No, the First Speaker corrected. Not any ship. Not any species. We have reviewed the sensor data from our facility. The radiation levels, the structural damage. No Naru could have survived long enough to complete such a rescue. Few Alliance species could have withstood those conditions. Another council member leaned forward. We had been told that humans' physical adaptations made you potentially dangerous. That your evolution on a high-gravity world with radiation, predators, and unstable climate created a species prone to aggression. Those things are part of our history, Taijun acknowledged. But they also gave us strength, endurance, and a drive to overcome challenges. Today, Those same traits let us help when others couldn't. The first speaker's body pulsed with bright blue light. We would like to welcome you properly to our world. A reception has been prepared for when you land. And there was a pause. The Naru High Council wishes to formally reconsider its previous position regarding human membership in the Galactic Alliance. Tai Jun raised an eyebrow in surprise. Ambassador Sunho, who had just entered the bridge, stepped forward with barely contained excitement. First speaker, may I ask what you mean by reconsider? Sunho asked carefully. The Naru delegation previously voted against full human membership. The first speaker admitted. We were concerned about your species' potential for disruption. We now see we were wrong. The Naru will formally change our vote and advocate for human membership at the next Alliance Council. After the transmission ended, Sunho turned to Tai Jun with a broad smile. Captain, do you understand what just happened? The Naru hold significant influence with 6 other species in the Alliance. With their support, Earth's full membership application could finally be approved. Tai Jun nodded, but his mind was already on the more immediate task. Prepare a landing party. Let's not keep our host waiting. The Naru capital city was unlike anything the humans had ever seen. Buildings made of living crystal rose in gentle curves, catching the light of their sun and breaking it into thousands of colors. The streets were wide and flowing, with no harsh angles or corners. Everywhere they looked, Naru citizens stopped to watch the human delegation with pulses of curious light. They'd never seen humans in person before, Sunho explained as they walked toward the Central Council building. Until now, Earth representatives were only allowed at Alliance outposts, never on member homeworlds. The reception hall was filled with hundreds of Naru, their bodies creating a living light show as they communicated with each other. At the center stood the 5 council members, flanked by the rescued research team. Dr. Su Min Kwan smiled broadly when she spotted the 3 young Naru children she had treated in the makeshift healing chamber. They were fully recovered, their bodies glowing with vibrant health. First Speaker Marine raised her crystalline arms for silence, and the light pulses in the room dimmed. Today we welcome representatives of Earth, she announced, her voice amplified throughout the chamber. For many cycles, we knew humans only through Alliance reports and cautionary tales of Deathworlders. We feared their strength, their endurance, their adaptability, traits so different from our own. The first speaker gestured to Curator Valine and the rescued team. But we failed to understand that these same traits make humans uniquely capable of great compassion and sacrifice. When faced with conditions that would kill most species, they did not turn away. They did not calculate the risk to themselves. They saved lives that would otherwise have been lost. Captain Kim, standing with his landing party that included Daeho, Sunho, and Su-min, felt a strange sense of pride. Not pride in being stronger or more resistant to radiation, but pride in how his crew had used those advantages to help others. As a symbol of our gratitude and our changed understanding, the first speaker continued. The High Council has unanimously voted to bestow upon Captain Kim and his crew the title of Crystalline Kin, an honor never before given to non-Naru. A murmur of light pulses rippled through the crowd. Even Sunho, with his diplomatic training, couldn't hide his shock. This is unprecedented, he whispered to Tai Jun. It's essentially making you honorary citizens of their world. The first speaker approached, carrying what appeared to be small crystal shards. These are memory crystals, grown from the living heart of our world. They contain the story of your rescue, to be shared with all Naru for generations to come. She handed one to each member of the landing party, and they serve as a permanent symbol of your status as crystalline kin. Tai Jun accepted the crystal with a formal bow. We are deeply honored, first speaker. There is more, Marine continued. The Council has decided to share our advances in quantum crystal technology with Earth. This knowledge has never been shared outside our world before. Sunho gasped quietly. Nauru quantum crystal technology was rumored to be centuries ahead of Earth's best computing systems. Such knowledge would transform human technological development overnight. Why? Ta Jun asked simply. Why share something so valuable? The first speaker's body pulsed with colors that seemed to reflect thoughtfulness. Because we have learned an important lesson. Diversity of evolution creates not just different weaknesses, but complementary strengths. The Nauru excel at certain sciences, but our physical limitations restricted our exploration and crisis response. Humans have different strengths. Together, we can achieve more than either could alone. Later, at a smaller gathering in the council gardens, the crew of the Dauntless mingled with the rescued Nauru scientists and members of the High Council. The atmosphere was relaxed, with many Nauru curious to learn more about Earth and humans. Dr. Kwan found herself surrounded by Nauru medical specialists, eager to understand how she had adapted Earth medical techniques to treat their kind. It was just problem-solving, she explained modestly. We looked at what your bodies needed and found a way to provide it with the tools we had. Nearby, Daho was demonstrating Earth martial arts forms to a group of fascinated young Nauru. His controlled movements, developed for a high-gravity world, seemed almost impossible to the crystal beings. Your bodies contain so much strength, one young Nauru commented. Yet you control it with such precision. That's the most important lesson we learn, Daho explained. Not how to use strength, but how to control it. Captain Kim stood with Ambassador Yoon and First Speaker Marine, watching these interactions with satisfaction. I must confess something, Captain, Marine said quietly. When we first received word that a human ship was responding to our colony's distress call, I feared the worst. I believed you might take advantage of the situation, perhaps demand technology or political concessions for your help. That's not who we are, Tai Jun replied. I understand that now. The first speaker's body pulsed with gentle light. The term Deathworlder was meant to describe your physical traits, but it became tainted with fear and prejudice. Perhaps we need a new term for species like yours. We're just humans, Tai Jun said with a smile, with all the strengths and weaknesses that comes with. As the evening continued, Tai Jun found himself thinking about Earth's journey to this point. Humans had struggled to gain acceptance in the galactic community. Many species feared their physical capabilities and their history of conflict. But today had shown that those same traits, shaped by Earth's harsh environment, could be the greatest gift humans brought to the stars. When the Dauntless departed the next day, thousands of Nauru gathered to see them off, their bodies creating waves of colorful light that could be seen from orbit. The ship set course for Earth, carrying not just the Nauru crystal technology, but something even more valuable. A message of hope for humanity's place among the stars. 3 months later, Earth received the news. The Galactic Alliance had finally approved full membership status for humans. The deciding vote had been swayed by passionate testimony from the Nauru delegation, who spoke not of dangerous Deathworlders, but of brave allies whose unique evolution had prepared them to help others in ways no one had imagined. Captain Ta Jun Kim, reading the news in his quarters aboard the Dauntless on its new mission, smiled to himself. One distress call, answered without hesitation, had changed everything. The term Deathworlder remained, but now it carried a new meaning throughout the galaxy. Not a warning, but a promise of help when all hope seemed lost.